Cloud. All righty. And let's just really quick bring your bodies to this call to the best of your ability. I know some of us have life going around, but bring your body, bring your mind, leave those 6 inches of your head somewhere else right here. But so it has the space of like, what new awarenesses are we going to have about our nervous system? What's our relationship? And then acknowledge yourself, please, for showing up or choosing this class. Okay. This work is not for the faint of heart. This is for people who are choosing to look at something greater, to have something greater, and to know that it's going to require work. Okay. So just being here, I want you to acknowledge yourself for choosing this. And but in the chair or wherever you're at. It's not about getting this right now, but just literally inviting your body, your mind, and your soul. And we will go from there. Okay, I did ask everybody what they would like to get from the call today. And let me just read what everybody said. Always seeking growth. You know how I like to open up classes and stuff. Everything that you expect to get from this class, would you go ahead and destroy and uncreate that? Because you have a projection and expectation of what you expect to get from this. You're literally going to limit yourself from what actually is possible. Because where we're going to go in this 90 minutes is possibly beyond what you even know that you're available to have. So just destroy and uncreate that. And I wonder what else in the space of curiosity, kindergarten space, and possibilities of what we can go from there. Okay. And so with that, let me pull up my screen to start sharing. Always so many buttons to press when you do this. Okay, here we go. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that now. I think you can. I'm going to close that screen. Everybody see? We're good? Okay, awesome. So welcome to Get Unstuck from the 4Fs. Why you're here and why your next level feels tight, and having the space of awareness of how to expand safely. All righty. So today we're going to help you understand something that most women have never been taught. All righty. Even for where we're at, and some of us in our growth journey. You know, I've been at transformational work for 3 decades now, and the nervous system is a new space that science can now back up so that we can actually receive it. So we haven't been taught this. So I'm excited to be able to share it with you. Why you feel stuck, even when you know what to do. Okay. And more importantly, we're going to look at what's actually underneath it. Now, if you work with me currently, you know that one of my favorite sayings that has continued to change me and my relationship with my nervous system, and that's my want for you today, is to take a look at what your relationship is with your nervous system, if you even have one, and if you even knew you could have one, and what can we do with that. Is we have to have the capacity to feel it and not be overwhelmed by it. This has changed me for the last year or so. When I wonder why I'm stuck, or when women are stuck, or just that place, it's like we have to have the capacity to feel it and not be overwhelmed by it. Okay. So let's jump into that. What is that, and what can we do with that? All righty. We're going to go into, you know what to do, so why aren't you doing it? Most high capacity, high achieving women don't stall at the beginning. Okay. We have a tendency to stall right at the edge of the change, of the growth. And a lot of times, what it is that we're creating, but we're not willing to actually expand into that. We stall right at that next level. Okay. From the outside, we look totally capable. People might even going around, how do you do it all? How do all of that on the outside, you look good, capable, and you're doing it. But something inside is off. That's the way I always describe myself. Like something is off and I can't figure it out. Right before that next level, that next growth is this space. And here's what I know more than I know now is it's not uncommon. Most of us are doing it, especially women of our age group who were not taught that this was a space to have more capacity. We just learned how to do it in survival. So when you start to tighten, let me describe what it might look like. You are overthinking, you go into hesitation, pressure, inconsistency, push, control, restlessness, paralyzed. You drop whatever it is that you're doing right in the moment to do something else, or you drop everything to help somebody else, even if they didn't ask for your help. Okay. So this is like, you know what to do. So why aren't you doing it? It's not a discipline problem. And what I want us all to walk away with this class is that a space of how much can you not be in judgment of yourself while we're learning today? Because if you go into judgment, you go back into your cycle. And as you know, judgment is our number one addiction. Okay. So being in a space of learning this and receiving it, how much you can from a place of no judgment. So this is not a discipline problem of why we aren't doing it or any of that. It is literally a nervous system. It's the nervous system patterns. Okay. So whatever it is that you know about the nervous system, don't know about the nervous system, why don't we have the space just here right now to allow yourself to just take what you want, leave the rest, open up to like what you didn't know that will create some change in your life. Again, it's not discipline. It's not mindset. It's not strategy, and you're not wrong. For some of us high achieving, accomplished women, we do know what discipline is. We wholly 100% know what discipline is, and we do it. My work, if you know me, is way beyond mindset work. Mindset work keeps us all in our head. We needed that work years ago. But if you're stuck and you're not sure why, it's not because of mindset work. It's not the strategy. And I have lived in all of these places for a very, very long time. And there's not a wrong, even though I thought it was wrong most of the time, but it's the nervous system. It's my nervous system. It's your nervous system. It's the patterns. All righty. So once we start to recognize these patterns, we can start to approach them, reset them, rewire them without judgment. And then the other thing is, here's what I know that I've really learned, and I did a call on it. It's like, you cannot out strategize a survival brain. Okay. So you may have in your past or presently, even though you think you've moved out of survival, your nervous system hasn't. And so we can't out strategize that or move beyond what it is that we desire or asking for, creating, because the nervous system is going to perceive that as scarcity. Survival, scarcity. The nervous system does not calculate it. All it does is go back into contraction. Okay. Period. So not new, but new in a different way for us to hear it and perceive it and receive it in our bodies. So it's your nervous system. Our nervous system is responding exactly as it was trained to. Now, some of you have been in, or you're repeating my aligned woman's path. So we have done nervous system work, but I'm taking you to a whole different awareness level. And the next group of the nervous system work will be even deeper. So I'm hoping I'm introducing to you, ladies, who are in the work already, things that we haven't looked at yet. Okay. Because this call, the expansion, is if you walk away with one thing, what is my relationship with my nervous system? Like, I didn't even know that. Again, it's always like, I didn't even know that was a possibility. Like, what is it? Who is it? How am I reacting with it? And what else is there? Okay. So everybody always says your nervous system, you're not broken. I personally, that whole you're not broken has always kind of bothered me. Personally, it's a point of view because we're not broken. It's our programming. It's what we've been imprinted with. It's just all of that, but you're not broken. It's responding to what it's been trained. And until we understand that relationship and where it's coming from, we'll keep repeating these patterns. And what I'm aware of, and I've been working in this, watching where we just get out of the pattern and then we pull ourselves back, forward, back. And it's just that nervous system unconscious work that we have just not tapped into yet. And that's the beauty of the neuroplasticity. This class, I am not teaching any science. Okay, we'll do that if you choose to go further into the nervous system training. You can Google that anywhere. Okay, it is important to know. So the body, you kind of get it, but I don't need to go into the science. I want us to be in this with our bodies. But they now know the neuroplasticity can be rewired. It's just magical. So everywhere that we think we're stuck is a point of view that we have, that we're stuck in the pattern of being stuck with. If we know how to do the work, we can outcreate that. So that's what we want to do, is to rewire and expand with more capacity and safety. Let me see if this next slide talks about what I want to talk about. And like I said, no science today. We all know the 4 F's. When I started this class, it changed a billion times while I was writing it out. And it went from get unstuck from the 4 F's. And I took a class and she talked about that. And we know what those are: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. We have heard them. We may not completely understand them, and that is okay. In the past nervous system classes we had talked about the nervous system, is one of the ones that was really fun for everybody to start to identify with is fawn. Like, what is that? What am I doing? And so let me break this down simply, just so we can start to integrate it into our bodies here. These are survival responses. That's how they have labeled them. Our fight is pressure and control. So if you're in fight, you're in pressure control. Flight, overthinking, doing. And there's many definitions after this. I'm just giving us a couple. So if you're doing flight, overthinking and doing. Freeze, shut down and stuck. Fawn, over, giving, and people pleasing. The cool thing is we can hit all of these in every situation all day long with all different categories, with relationships, with your business, with money. Okay. So what I ask always is, when we're looking at this, is please do not make this significant. If you latch onto this, I'm in fight and flight, your nervous system is actually going to attach to that to prove that everything that you do is in fight or flight, because that's how it works. Once we tap into something, we do everything to prove that we're not, while proving while we're doing. That's the energy. So nervous system, energy work. Okay. They need to go together. How cool is that? I've spent 7 years teaching energy, and incorporating this last piece that we now know more than we've ever known. We get to put that in there. So when we understand our nervous system, and again, I'm not going into the automatic nervous system and the amygdala, there we go. But here's what's happening in every transaction. Our nervous system is triggering. We have an emotion. we have a thought, we have a feeling, then we have a behavior, and that's a pattern. Okay. For me, when I'm really clear on this, no wonder I'm freaking tired because everything has this. So that's just an awareness right there. Like everything I'm choosing unconsciously is going through the splits, whatever microseconds of like nervous system. Now I'm having emotion. Now I'm having a thought. Now I'm having a feeling. And now I'm in the behavior. And now I'm in the pattern. Okay. So now that we even have more clarity, you can see why the mindset work is definitely not enough. It's where we started like 30 years ago. I was doing mindset work. And then we do the energy work, which becomes all of this part, the emotions, the thoughts, because remember, 95% of our thoughts don't belong to us. So if those thoughts don't belong to us, that is triggering their emotion, then we're having a feeling. It's just the whole wrap of it. So, hello, nervous system. Am I aware that I'm constantly having these emotions? I'm constantly having these thoughts, these feelings, these behaviors in this pattern. I was thinking the other day, I've done a couple lives as I was getting ready to present this. I've always had a very strong old belief, which I really had to learn in my recovery journey to outgrow, is I used to say for years, my feelings are going to kill me. I really, to my core, that was true. True. We know so much more now that again, I didn't have the capacity within my nervous system to feel it and not get overwhelmed by with it, which then I decided meant death. Okay. So, 25 years into recovery, and I'm like, there's just got to be something more than this. And again, that's where another journey started for me into deeper integration beyond my sobriety, and this is for food, this is for alcohol, drugs, it's for every type of addiction that we have where our nervous system is reacting, the emotion, the thought, the feeling, behavior, and the pattern. So today I know that my feelings aren't going to kill me because I now know that my nervous system has the capacity to feel it without being overwhelmed by it. But that took a lot of time for me to be able to get to that. Okay. What else do I have to say? These are patterns. They're not our personality. When we comes to my energy work that we go through is that there's also a part of us energetically where we buy into the personality. And then that becomes this whole energy thing. We're not going into that today because we're talking about the nervous system. But once we realize what the nervous system is doing, imprinting, and how we're showing up, we then get to clear our personality energetically of how we're also showing up in the world. There's two layers here. Okay. Here's what we need to know always about these 4Fs, these survival responses. They are constantly, our nervous system, if you really tap into it, it is constantly scanning for safety. Constantly. And it's magical that it can do that. Now, you probably know the basics of the nervous system. This is what we needed for survival years ago, the whole history of that. But our nervous system doesn't know the difference. So it may know that we're not in danger of being eaten by the bear or whatever that would be. But because the patterns were created when we were little bitty, and I'm going to talk about that, it does not know the difference. So the nervous system is always scanning constantly for safety. So when we look at when it comes to income, this has been a big one for me. Why can't I make that income or whatever? Because I did not have the capacity to be safe to have it because of all this other nervous stuff. But I didn't get that until I got the part of the nervous system. Okay. And what it does, it when it detects something, here's the thing, whether it's real or perceived, it's again, 95% of it is perceived interpretation, input from our past. Which when you just start to sit that with that's what I do. Is like with my body, it's like my body is doing everything it can to keep me safe based on my past. So energetically, so much of the work we've been doing is energetically clearing, and out creating that. But there's still this wall that was really frustrating me until I got into this awareness and this work. It's the nervous system, thank gosh. And that it is to protect me, but it's on automatic. It's on automatic. I don't have an awareness subconsciously that it's doing it until I start to look at this type of work. It's like, that's the pattern. It's automatic. I don't know. I'm clearing it from an energetic level, but my body is still reacting. So, like I just said, your nervous system activates first. Hello. It creates an emotion because our emotions are our body. I used to say, like, my thoughts and my emotions were going to kill me. I really meant that for so many years. Then your thoughts follow. And then you become aware of it as a feeling in the body again. And then you act from it. Okay. So just take that in for just a minute. So for everywhere that, I don't know where your journey is at, but I have spent so much of my life and what the F is wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just in this deep, deep loop in all the areas of my life. Recovery has healed my recovery journey in 12 step has healed a lot of that, but there's still so much more growth that is available so that I can have even more ease and more ease. So that's what I'm inviting you guys to. So no, we're not choosing our reaction. So this is where it gets a little interesting when I merge my energy work awareness and the mastery, and we do the nervous system with that, is we do choice. It's part of one of the 4 quadrants of my course is choice, realizing we have choice. But I'm so aware now that my nervous system is still going to dominate my choices. I'm going to merge, I'm going to move, I'm going to expand a little bit, but that's that rubber band thing that sometimes we keep. I move forward, but all of a sudden I'm kind of back there again. Yeah, because our nervous system activated, it creates the emotional response. Okay. So am I actually choosing what it is that I want to be choosing, which is my question, right? My 4 A's: awareness, allowance, aligned, or, asking a question, and then the aligned action. And that would be choice. But am I choosing from a nervous system that's going to pull me back from the choice that I'm actually energetically making? It's so cool. It's like so many different layers. I love it. So that same sequence happens over and over and over and over and over again, and it's now the pattern. And I think that's one of the things that I'm good at as a facilitator is I see people's patterns and gaps instantly. It's just something I can do. Some of us can. So it's fun to go and see that gap and see that because we can't see it ourselves. The thing is with the pattern, that's when we start to think, or we just believe that that's who we are. Okay. And then that's who we are. That's what it is. And that's what we do in the energy work part is like, well, that's just my point of creation, point of destruction space. That's who I am. And I'm never going to change. Foot down, survival. That's it. Because you have decided that that's who you actually are based on the pattern. Okay, but it's not who you are. It's what your nervous system has learned to do. And yay for that, because it's kept us safe. All righty. So let's go in to functional anxiety. Again, the last course I just took because I'm a growth junkie. Like if you guys work with me and like every week, I'm like, I just finished another class. And that's a functional anxiety. I know where I show up in functional anxiety. But her name was Caroline. Functional anxiety definition is not new. It's known in the psychological world. But when I started to look at it with my nervous system and looked at it with the women that I coach, when I put the word functional on it, I got out of judgment for myself because I am, you probably are, very functioning, high functioning, balls to the wall, get the shit done. Nothing stops me, Wonder Woman cape. Okay. And I've prided myself in that. So just let that kind of settle in. Functional anxiety. This is where your system stays activated all the time. Okay. Don't make this significant. Just use it as a body awareness of like, oh, like I knew that, but now what would it be like if I had more capacity to actually know what it is that I know? Okay. We look capable on the outside, right? But internally, there's this pressure, this urgency, constant doing, always on, overthinking, pushing, and pressure. Okay, I don't know. Can anybody identify with that one? Okay. Laura's like, no, I can't. And here's the thing, we aren't one or the other. We are going to ebb and flow in different areas. So you may show up as functional anxiety in this area in your job, but in your money and finances, you might go to functional freeze. And we'll talk about that. This functional anxiety is the state of the drive. Gosh, do I know this? Which leads to burnout. It's the constant nervous system. I describe it as the revved up. It's like tons of coffee without having any coffee. Now, when I look back to where I started in my recovery journey and coming off of that, whatever drug or whatever you're using, shopping, food, it's like whatever you were using to cope, and then you take that away, and now you go into a nervous system survival, and the functional anxiety for me is what took over. And that's what I want you guys to look at is like, wow, I am capable, I am high achieving, and what's possible. So my body, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become? How do I need to have this new relationship where that isn't pinging and revving? Okay. I have been in the last several years to the hospital twice because I thought I was having a stroke. And here's my ego. Here's the part like I should know what it is that I'm teaching. I knew, but my body, I kept it going so hardcore in my job that I literally could not breathe. I remember the wall in my office creating programs and all that. And my body shut down. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't lift my leg. There was this whole body total shutdown. In my past, and this might be for you, have you been diagnosed? This is where disease comes from. Way back when, in my diseases and in a business, I was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr. Didn't even know what that was. Adrenal fatigue syndrome. I know we hear about this stuff all the time, but now I've got words to go, oh, that's what it was doing. So the wish is for us, like, if I'm in that, like, what's possible? What do I need to do to regulate myself? Okay. What else in this section? This is the state of the drive, which leads to burnout. Now, tapping into, again, our identity, which is something we look at too in the course, is that then you become your identity of that's the person that you are. And that's where it gets a little warpy because of, I can only speak for myself, is that because I do functional anxiety, I'm a high producer. So now it becomes my identity. Okay. And so we'd have to do the identity shift with the nervous system healing, with the energy healing to the new version identity of yourself. It's the whole thing. It's so exciting. But this is where we think, we're productive. It's not productive. It's anxiety. I did a live yesterday. It got like 500 views on it. It was just crazy. I was sitting in my beautiful chair in the beautiful window, cat behind me, to do my 3 minutes of quiet and my brain dump. And I shared the live. I don't know how I got there. I do have the ADD, ADHD. I have all of that to go with it. Most of us do. Okay. Most of us do, because this is where we live. Okay. But the next thing I knew, I literally had spent an hour and a half trying to create the best reel for everybody. No one watches the reels anyway. So I was so freaking amped up, and I was only supposed to sit for 3 minutes and do my brain dump. So I don't know how I got there, but I did. But now I can catch it, not go into the wrongness. And then I did a funny little thing that says I'm spending this time here. So looks capable, totally activated, got nothing done. How does it get any better than that? So let's go on to functional freeze. See if you say yourself in any of this. So let me bring my energy down. So everybody just barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Because for me, even to be and talk about functional anxiety, I'm addicted to it, man. I love it. My body doesn't love it anymore. That's why I have chronic disease. That's why I'm healing it. So I was up just now. Let's bring it down. Functional freeze. Functional freeze is the other side. You know what to do, but you don't do it. You shut down, avoidance, inconsistency, avoiding, delaying. We say we're stuck. Inconsistent. It's the same system, just a different expression. Can anybody see themselves in functional freeze a little bit more? I definitely, is Laura, this one a little bit more?
Yeah, but I was being sarcastic when I said no about functional anxiety. Sorry, I tried to say it, but I was on mute. Total sarcasm with that first one.
Love it. Appreciate it. Cool. And that's because we are all of it. Okay. So what would it be like to actually have more, not more tools or information? We need all of that, but to actually be able to regulate in the moment. And that's just sometimes the awareness is like, okay. Now the awareness is what I've learned over it's not enough. Awareness creates so much change, the energy, but we really do need to rewire that nervous system. Okay. So patterning. Your nervous system learned how to cope and function and survive at a very young age. So I want us to give ourselves permission that we think that we are reacting from the present moment. Like, I don't know, like I did that, I decided that because that's what I decided at the moment. It is coming from the nervous system, coping and functioning mechanisms. Okay. So as I invite you into just this relationship with your nervous system, the journey for me for this last year is the unfolding. Again, done so much work. You guys know that. So much personal work, especially in recovery, of like, where my nervous system, not my energy, mastering so much of that. And that's part of it. I probably could not personally have gotten to the nervous system until my energy could expand enough to have the capacity. But now my nervous system is ready for more capacity to receive, have, and hold. God, we've been talking about that for 7 years. Is this unwinding, like every day, I'm aware of, for me, this is for me, and it's not a judgment. My entire life has been survival. It didn't, and I don't say that from like a bad or whatever, good or bad. It's just like, even my recovery has been set in survival. Even my recovery has been survival. So when I look at that, it's like, oh, I'm still running that energy. So it started a long time ago. Did I break it down here? No, let's just start here. So, small version, 0 to 7 years old. Your system is absorbing everything. You're not thinking, you're feeling and recording what is safe. Take a breath as I go through each of those. We all have different levels of trauma. The work I'm doing is not deep level trauma work. If I've done that work, I had to seek outside help, to do the deep level trauma work. So there's like 5 levels of trauma work, 5 levels of nervous system. There is the deep therapeutic trauma, there's the somatic, there's the breath, which is its specialty within itself. So, but if you've done a lot of work, which most of you have worked on this. Okay. You have worked on some of that trauma, but it is amazing how much is still reacting from that pattern. What I do want to add for me and for my clients' awareness is almost every woman I work with is an empath and intuitive. Again, we didn't have the space, the permission, the collaborative consciousness to even say that out loud. I literally did not come out verbally until the last couple years and to speak the empathic. I'm a trained psychic. I went to the Southern California Berkeley Psychic Institute. I did years of training on how to do energy psychic work. Today, we can go anywhere and say, I'm an empath. So for my empaths here, and I guess what I'm saying with that is we just have such a different space to show up today. And if you're in any form of recovery, you're most likely an empath in any form, okay? And what happened, the way I perceive it is at that 0 to 7, not only is our system is absorbing everything. So as empathic feelers, neurodivergent, they call it now. I mean, there's so many different names for it. I just was labeled as there was something wrong with me. But we're absorbing all of this without any words. Your body's just taking it in. And you have no words, but you're taking it in. So please just acknowledge right now where that did happen. You haven't fully acknowledged the part of you that has absorbed everything into the cells, into the nervous system. So, and we're recording what is safe, even without words. That's I get it. Okay. So at 7 to 14, you begin assigning meaning to it. And then that's where we start to look at the energy as empathic, energetic beings, that we start taking in all this information, points of views, expectation, projections of everybody else on who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be. Okay. So just kind of let this just roll. All righty. This is where beliefs are formed, 7 to 14. So hello to anybody here who started an addiction at that age, 10, 11, 12, 30, whatever, younger, older. And I mean addiction, a coping mechanism. Now, for me as an alcoholic, I do have an allergy to alcohol. So there is another part of that. But that's when I was aware that there was just so much going on and I didn't know how to process it. I didn't have words for it. So the beliefs are being formed, starting to become aware that I'm becoming aware of so much, but no one has any words to describe it. 14 to 21, patterns are practiced and reinforced. They begin to start to feel like your identity. And I want to say this, like, just my point of view. It really sucks because this is our informative years. And this is where everything got imprinted, implanted, all of that. And then at 21, some of us are kind of a hot mess. But we did the best we could with the coping mechanism, with the parents, with everything. So wherever we are today, I want you to acknowledge how far you've come. Like, yeah. And what else is available? Because what I want for all of us is that ease, like the true ease for our nervous systems and our bodies. Okay. How are we doing on time? I'm going to keep going and then I'll answer questions at the end. Because that was a lot of information and it probably brought some stuff up. Just write down notes. You're going to start having like, oh yeah, yeah. Just let that clear. Okay. You're nervous. I read that. No, I think I'm missing a slide, but that's okay. Do I want to go there? Did you know you could have a relationship with your nervous system? This is what I've been identifying my nervous system work with. Because I know the science. I'm learned, I've been taught, educated, but I don't process science very well. It goes in, it goes out, I get it. But what I do get, because I do experience things in my body, everything, even though I'm aware of it or not aware of it, don't want to, whatever, I've started inviting a relationship with my nervous system. You know, we do inner child work in some of the aligned woman's path. It's like, so we bring her up to where we're at presently, at that new version of us. And then it's like, but what about nervous system? What about the me, the nervous system? It's interesting because as I teach, I'm the observer. So I noticed this yesterday. I say the nervous system. And I was like, well, wait a minute. It's not the nervous system outside of me, because I like to put things outside of me. It's my nervous system. So that's what I want you ladies to go, my nervous system, here all the way down to the spine without needing to know the science, but my nervous system. Hello, who are you? How are you? How are we showing up in the world? Where have I? And we did this clearing, right? Last month in the Aligned Woman, everywhere. I wish I had it. It just came to me. Everywhere I've, gosh, I wish I had it. Separated from, divorced from, given away, left, hid away, like all these parts and pieces of us energetically that we've done that so that we can compartmentalize everything instead of my nervous system. Okay. So as an adult, we think we're choosing, but what we're doing is we're repatterning or we're repeating. I want to make sure I'm on the right thing. No, I don't want to go there. Let's go here because I had a little slide out of error. Here I am. Hello. You guys all know me. And this is a title that I've probably changed about 1 billion times since I've been coaching. I'm just Lynnae. And what I bring to the work is my experience, my strength, my hope, thousands and thousands of dollars of training. I am an energetic coach because I see energy. I read energy. I'm a clairvoyant. I'm able to see people's gaps very fast. We do transformational work. I do not do the work, when you show up for honestly anything that I do, we become a collective group who have chosen consciously, unconsciously to transform together. That's what we're doing together. And we didn't even have to, it's like we came together to have some transformation. I'm a coach, I'm a facilitator. I facilitate change. So, yay for me. Like I said, I've spent years refining this work through my own experience, working with women just like you who are capable, aware, and still stuck in patterns. And sometimes it sounds so generic to me, like stuck in patterns, but it's really what it is. If we are not where we want to be, we are stuck in a pattern. That pattern is subconscious nervous system energy. It's in there. Okay. So, over this last 7 years to get to where I have this container now, which I'm so excited about, is my Aligned Women's Path. It's where we teach from the top, bottom up, regulation. My pictures here, regulation and reset, calm, stabilize the nervous system. Identity, perspective work, expand what's underneath the pattern. And all of this creates more capacity. Energetic alignment is all about, we've all been expanding our energy, open to receiving, holding, and allowing more. But I'm so clear, so clear, so clear that this energetic alignment has to have the regulation and reset. I mean, we know that, okay? And then we go into choice and embodiment. We can know all of this in our heads because some of us are just thinkers, got to know it all. I got to know everything, but really starting to embody it. So that's me for all of those couple of you who are watching this and you don't know anything about me. And I didn't say here that I've spent 36 years in recovery. Alrighty, did you know you can have a relationship with your nervous system? As adults, we think that we're choosing, but we might just be repeating. We are choosing, but we can only choose what we have more capacity for. That's why we have to have the capacity to feel it and not be overwhelmed by it. That's my whole life in a nutshell right there. Okay, so yay for that. You're not reacting to our current life. We're responding from a nervous system shaped before we had language. We talked about that. Awareness alone doesn't change it. Darn it. But it has expanded so much work for all of us. Mindset doesn't override it, and strategy doesn't fix it. Capacity, here's the new formula. Capacity, safety, and regulation are what going to change it. This is not in my thing here, but really quickly, about 5 years ago, the big surge of the nervous system hit the coaching world. It's nothing new. Like some of us may have done nervous system work, breathing, screaming, yelling, kicking, all of that. My therapist 36 years ago was so ahead of her time, but we didn't have names for it. We just knew we had to get the shit out of our bodies. So 5 years ago, science backed up the nervous system. So once science backs everything up, everybody's okay to go start talking about it. So I spent a couple of years like really resisting it. You guys listen to me. It's like, I should have known that. So any projections, expectations, and judgments that you might have, and maybe it's just for me, like I should already know this. Why didn't I get this? I've done all this work, but now there's this part. It's just honestly another evolution of consciousness as a collective. That was quite a sentence right there. In the past 10 years, 15 years, if you are in consciousness work, that's my work, we as a collective humanity, many of us are stepping in and have been, like all these women, it's just so everybody's popping their heads out, like going like, I'm an empath, please give me more tools, because no one gave me the tools. And I'm like, yes, because we can speak about what we couldn't speak about because the consciousness collective has said it's okay. Alrighty. I've been talking about this secretly for 3 decades. And no wonder my body hurts because I've been holding it in secretly because I've been so afraid. So you can kind of see that for yourself. Like, where are you holding, not being willing to be more visible, to show up because you might have a calling for something grand to do. But if your nervous system doesn't have the capacity to hold it, you just can't get there. So, um, where else? Where else? Where else? Um, so what do I want to say? Relationship, nothing to fix. Okay. Have you ever considered, okay, does this end right here? In this part, we don't need to fix it, our nervous system. We don't need to fight it, and we don't need to judge it. So let's go into a very overwhelming slide. So take a deep breath, and we're just going to go here. This is my aligned woman's nervous system awareness map. This took me a long time to put it together. Okay. You will get this in the course. Anybody who's in it right now will get that. But I think if I handed this to anybody, it's too overwhelming. So all I want you to do right now is just look at it. Okay. The aligned woman's nervous system awareness map. We want to become aligned with the version of us that we're choosing to be, the embodiment of ourselves, its nervous system. And when we have awareness, we can choose to change things. What's your eyes drawn to first? Is there a section? I know it's kind of hard to read. I tried to get it a little bit darker, but what section, if anything, pops
I
up?
have to energy.
Oh, I have to. Okay, so you went to social expressions. Okay. Okay.
I went to Inner Champion.
Okay. So inner champion here. Okay, cool. Anybody else? What just popped out? Like you're like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. So again, this is the science part. Nervous system is biological. It is. It's a sympathetic over activation, which is our functional. Our sympathetic activation. This is a teeny bit about the science. Fight, flight. This is where what would it be like to be here? Like most of the time. We're going to move up and down. This is a map that you'll get like a blank one where you'll get to actually track, like, what am I doing all day long? Where am I going? But this inner champion is where the nervous system is actually at its, what do I want to say? It's energized, grounded. It's responsive if it's engaged. This is our safe spot right here. This is when we finally are safe in our nervous system to have the capacity to have more. Functional freeze, parasympathetic, the dorsal vagal. Okay, lower energy, nervous system collapse. Wow. Conserve. And then the psychological expressions. Okay, I know there's a lot in here. It's a lot, but just like, what are psychologically, how am I showing up? The inner critic, holy moly, hello to that inner critic. This is functional anxiety, not enough, pressure, overthinking, urgency. This one, not enough, has taken me still today to even identify with this. I'd never say that I had a belief system that I was not enough. But when I look at so much of my nervous system coping mechanisms from survival, this is an underlining theme. And then you go into the themes of consciousness, the energy work, where we start to look at the 3D and the 4D, fear, shame, blame, regret, depression, all that. That's where the psychological, that's when we start to have the feelings about it. And so forth. Inner champion is functional flow, focus, confidence, taking action, but you're still in the sympathetic activation. Okay. That's why I like the functional, because we're kicking ass. Okay. Both of these, we're kicking ass, but we're not regulated. Inner critic down here is I can't, hopeless, avoidant, disconnected. So Lauren popped into social expression. The I have to energy. Hello, pushing, overworking, reactive decision. Okay. And then I did realize today that it's repeated here twice, and that's totally fine. I choose to, I get to, and that's going to be in your activated but safe zone. Okay. And functional freeze. So there we go. How do you like that map? For the girls who've been in the aligned woman, have I upgraded quite a bit from our first initial non-existent map? Okay. So I'm clicking on because we could stay there and judge it. Oh, let me put this right here. Bring it down. Capacity expands as safety increases. So that one's going to blow you out really quick. I've talked about this. This is a statistic. You can pull it up anywhere. People who win the lottery and win a lot of money, they always statistically lose it within a couple years and more. That is 100% because they do not have the capacity to hold it, to have that money, because their nervous system, coping mechanism, belief systems, thoughts, feelings, body doesn't have the capacity to have it. So when we start to understand, well, why did I lose it all? Because I didn't have the capacity to be it. Okay. Take a breath before I show you this next map, this next picture. I created a new one, but I didn't like it as good as the one the teacher did. But she spoke from a very different activation, but I loved it. So we're going to go look at it together. And this is where capacity ties into our nervous system. Here we go. It's very busy, but I will walk you through it. And let me get my capacity notes here. This is the cup versus the jug analogy. Every day, we are pouring our jug into a cup. This is our nervous system. So the jug is your life. Okay. It's demands, it's the pressure, it's responsibilities, deadlines, parenting, conflict, news, financial pressure, shoving it all, this is life. Okay. Our nervous system, this is also like totally overwhelmed. Then we try to pour all of this into, or it is trying to live in this very small cup of our nervous system because that's where it's at. So our cup is small, so it overflows quickly. And then what overflow looks like, I love the way she just did this. It looks like snapping, numbing, collapsing. And this collapsing is not just like this energetic, it's like the body shuts down. Okay. This is a lot of times where a lot of us start to listen. When the body stops and it's not working, it's like, maybe I should listen now. Overreacting. Okay. A lot of us go right here. We go into the reaction of everything and withdrawing. So we're pouring our life, which is our jug, into the nervous system that we have that's set from the past. You may have upgraded it. You may have a couple cups now. But if you choose and you want more in your life, living and business, the cup's capacity has to grow. So the solution, this is what, oh my gosh, so many of us say. It's so many. Well, I'm going to eliminate I'm going to eliminate this. I'm going to eliminate this. I'm going to take this out. And it's kind of that belief system. I'll get to it. I'll get to it when the time is right. The nervous system work I'm looking at is, number one, there's never going to be a right time. It's the choice when we choose to choose it. And what if it wasn't about eliminating anything, but it's about increasing the capacity of our cup? Now, I wish I could say that awareness alone would do that, but it's not. It's not enough. But we do get a small, bigger, even bigger, so that we can have more capacity, more calm, more choice, more ease. Okay. So wish I would have had this diagram when I got sober 36 years ago, because it's like, oh my God, that explains me. A lot of us. Okay. And then you throw in the alcohol, the drug, the food, the shopping, the men, all of that in workaholism. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So regulation, rest, recovery, resilience. Okay. What do you like that map? Does it give you a really like, oh man. I have always taught when I was in network marketing, I literally just taught a client this last week. We talked about it. I talked about my pennies. I've always taught like you only have 100 pennies a day, but I taught that from a time management because we only have 100 pennies. Most women are running like about 130, 150 pennies a day when we go this much time, this much time, this time. And then we wonder why we can't get it all done or we can't have the bigger business or more money. It's because number one, time management, but the cup versus the mug analogy blows all of it. Just it's so much bigger. Let me see what else I can say here. Nervous system regulation. And I think that we hear a lot in the nervous system world right now is I'm dysregulated, I'm regulated, I'm dysregulated. I also am inviting us not to make that significant, but just to be aware of what my body's doing right now. What am I aware? Am I up? Am I high? Am I flat? Am I low? Am I pinging? All of that, but not go into this full definition of I'm dysregulated to I'm regulated, because then what that does, it puts us in the right or wrong judgment. And that's what we're all trying to get out of is the judgment cycle. So I just invite you to that space. As capacity grows, everything changes. Okay, cool. So with that, we are on awareness or change. This is your moment. So please acknowledge all the awareness work. If you've been working anywhere on your awareness, especially if I know you and we've been doing just deep levels of expansion. So many of us came in like crunchy little tarts, right? Like it just totally tight. And most of us are functioning in this totally expansive, safe, energetic space. Oh, so yum. And if you crunch down in other areas, it's like, okay, cool. It's like we can work on that. We can expand that. Yay. And that's what we do in some of the sections of the Aligned Woman's Path. So I'm going to take you to a next step with me. Whether you choose it or don't choose it, I am pretty confident, I think, that you walked away today with some new stuff. Okay, some new space. But let me go through this with you and stay till the end with me, because then I'm going to walk us through a guided relaxation. So, because I've given you a lot of information. One thing I did different in this, I have taught, I don't know, over the past however many years, probably 100 classes. And when I look back at my first webinar to what it is today, and you've been in a lot of them, I would just blast people out with so much content that I never saw them again, because like, well, I just walked away with absolutely everything and I don't even know what you said and it's just all too much. Today, because I'm a little bit more, I'm not in that functional anxiety, I was able to create this from a space of like, I don't have to give it all to you guys. I don't have to prove this is a big one for all of us everywhere, that we're still proving. Oh, what would it be like for the nervous system to finally have the space, the tools to not have to prove anymore? So that's just been, even doing this class, I was able to practice that more. So we don't need more strategy. Most of us don't need more strategy. We have signed up, done every possible class there is out there. Not that there's not continue to do that, but if that's where we keep going to think that that's where it's going to be, it's not in the strategy. We need a nervous system that can hold more. The aligned woman's path is where we stop repeating the pattern and you start becoming the woman who can hold more. I'm even more clear now on what that aligned woman is. The aligned woman is not a particular thing that you're going for. It's funny because some of us are like, I don't know if I can be an aligned woman. The aligned woman is you, the embodiment, the identity, the nervous system of your highest, most self in the present time. And then we keep increasing that. So this is a decision point. I don't do decisions. I invite you to choose. Decision cuts off all of our possibilities. You know, I don't really like that word because decision is an energy word that makes it right or wrong. Because if we don't decide it, then we're wrong. If we do decide it, we're right. This is a choice, like a choice. If you leave here with awareness, yay, you've had a lot. I'm excited. I'm not going anywhere. There will always be other things coming up available for you. Coaching one-on-one as well. Some people don't like to do groups, but man, groups are powerful because we're all in agreement to shift quickly together. So after this, you'll get an email. This is not here to tell you all specifics about it, but you will get an invitation to the 16-week container. Every 4 months we cover, and I talked about those little areas we talk about. The next opening is April 15th. And what did I write down here just so I can give this to you? The value is 33 hours of live coaching with me. The value is like $8,500. I am currently have been pricing it at $1,200. So it's 4 months payments of $300 for that 33 hours of coaching and facilitation with me. And our next cycle we go into is our nervous system with money. That's just wildly fun. Okay, so you'll get an email for your next step. Okay, cool. So I am going to stop my screen. And I think you might have written some notes. I did not get to see them while I was on that. Before I go into maybe this 5-minute, whatever I'm calling it, the reflection, just to kind of get back, incorporate all of this. Any takeaways, any golden nuggets, something that like really spoke to you that you want to share, something maybe you didn't know that you know now. And remember, what you share will probably be something else for somebody else as well. Laura, please.
Yeah, thank you, Lynnae. This has been fantastic. And I took like 3 or 4 pages of notes. I find I can take notes again now that I retired, and it's more just about for me and
Yeah.
people in the workplace and stuff. But that when we were talking about the functional anxiety, I kind of had an aha moment of why, like in my professional career, people would come to me, ask Laura to do it. Let's have Laura do it. And I always thought, why is it always me? But I feel like it's because one, I would overwork myself. They knew that. And not that anybody was like, oh, she's functional anxiety. But I put it in the chat in quotes, when people know we're functional anxiety, I feel like it kind of drives other people to either consciously or subconsciously take advantage of that because
Correct.
they know we'll produce. They
Correct.
just know that we'll produce and we'll go to I should be saying me. I would go to great lengths to do it because there was other things that you said, that people pleasing, the overthinking, the overfunctioning, just like I was so incredibly disciplined. I would find things as a challenge, not always, and I don't mean to make it sound that it was horrible. I loved what I did, and I really enjoyed it and I really enjoyed producing good work and I got to like develop all these new programs and stuff, but there was something else that you said that all of this eventually leads to burnout. And then and I also know that like there are some family members that I think don't like my functional anxiety, meaning that I feel like maybe feel threatened or intimidated by how I can overproduce, but
Mhm.
also then in the same token, contradictorily, will take advantage of that and expect me to carry most of the burden for everything.
Correct.
It's
Mhm.
like, ah. And it's like, what a pattern, like what you described, what a pattern I've gotten myself into that could sometimes, and I've done a lot of work in my own recovery that could lead to resentments,
Mhm.
like perhaps expecting other people to pitch in or, and we know that expectations are really just premeditated resentments, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I can see the loop.
Right.
I've gotten better about it, and the other thing that I've also been working on is healthy boundaries for myself, and being able to articulate that to people using love and kindness, and then a lot of times people will not like that.
Of course. Of
Yeah, they
course.
don't like that. And so then there's that little conflict if I let it be a conflict for me. But it was just like everything you said rang very true for me.
Mm.
And I really appreciated it. And like I said, it was nice to it's really nice to see it laid out in your content.
Mhm.
This is
Thank you.
true, this is real. And many women can have some of these same feelings and same patterns and same experiences. And I love what you said. There's nothing wrong with me,
And
right?
that's where we go because judgment is the number one addiction. It's an energy
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
like.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you, Lynnae.
You're welcome. Thank you for all of that. One of the things we do really work on in the energy section of in the aligned woman is you mentioned it and we do need it. We do boundaries until we learn allowance.
Mm,
And it's a whole different structure because often boundaries is this.
the pushing.
We want to be in the space for the nervous system, the energy that we are able to receive everything with no point of view. So that's the cool part is it's just always more ease to be available for us. So very cool. I love that. Okay, anybody else want to add, share, addition?
I'll share.
Okay.
Um, Hi. I really recognize how far I've came when I'm looking at that because I have spent a lot of time in reaction and freak out. And I recognize how uncomfortable it is, being in that end of month grind or like having big goals and having big targets. And like I'm in one today and I'm just sitting here like, you know what? I'm doing what I can do and I'm just not going to put myself into freak out about it. And then I snap into freak out for a minute, like, oh my God, I got to do this. And then I just recognize, oh, there I'm going into panic again. And I can feel my body literally just like contracting. And
Totally.
so just doing some breathing, some 4 box breathing. And, just like a lot of times I'll just take off and go walk around the block, move my body, which moves my mind and helps me to recognize what I can and can't control.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. And
Thanks.
acknowledging how much work we've all done. It's really
Yeah.
important because
Thank you.
that's what we're here to also acknowledge that. I will be in the next month or two really focused on the end of the month trauma for anybody who's been in sales. We can't outthink that. That has to be a complete nervous system reset. So I look forward to teaching more about that because I see that with everybody. Okay, anybody else before I start in our little guided meditation? Thank you, everybody who showed up for investing in this, for investing in your time. This was the first time I priced my class a little bit higher because I wanted the women who really wanted this.
I
So,
just want to say thank you.
yes, you're welcome, Jennifer. Any other feedback?
She's here too. She's over there.
Hello.
Hi, Dawn. Good, good. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the Aligned Women's Path. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm hoping that I can turn on my music in the background. Hold on, let's see if it lets me do it. My screen is on. And then sometimes Zoom won't let you play music. Can you hear that? Oh, thank goodness. And it may tap it out, but right now we're there. Okay. So as we're finishing up today, what I'd like you to do, if you feel safe enough, get settled in to where you're at. I want you to thank yourself for showing up, for bringing your body, for just a thank you. Like, so often we don't thank our bodies, we just abuse them. But today, the showing up was a gift. So I want you to acknowledge that. We're going to go ahead and just take a moment to actually experience what we've been talking about, not just to understand it, but again, to feel it in our bodies. So if it feels safe for you, like I said, gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Begin by noticing your breath. And noticing your breath is not where you have to do it deliberately. Just notice it. You don't need to change it. Just notice it. Unless you want to take a couple deep breaths. Notice where your body is supported right now. Did you choose a comfy chair? Are you sitting on the floor, your car seat? Just what have you chosen to support you? Feet on the ground, if you'd like. We'll go ahead and feet on the floor, and all that energy, the magnetic imprinting that the earth has to offer us. Just bring that up through our bodies and then back out. Restoration, communion with earth. Restoration, communion with earth. Run, please. Allow your shoulders in the middle to drop if they're still tight. Your jaw unclench. Soften your face. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. You are here. Most of all, you're safe. If you're safe for real in the moment right now, I want you to let your body know that you're safe right now. In this present moment, you've got your own back. This is not the past. It's not the future. But right now, if you are, you're safe. Right now, your nervous system is responding to the real time, present time. Not to where we always try to grab what's going on around us out of coping, but from right this moment. Your relationship with your body, I'm safe. This is also the moment where most of us start to move away. Like you're right here and you're in this spot, and then you start to go into overthinking, doing, or shutting down. What I invite all of us to do is just take your hands and put them, this is such a calming, loving, caring, hands on your arms, just as if you were getting a hug. As simple as this is, letting your little girl, that smaller, softer part of you, know that she's safe. Right now, she's safe. Present, she's safe. I'm safe. Wow. This is where our patterns begin to shift. This is where the thinking has to go away with just alone but the integration, the embodiment, the daily practice, the accountability to do it with others, to show up. And I'm going to keep showing up for myself, not by forcing, but by your body learning to feel safer. Your nervous system is always listening. It is always listening. And right now, you're showing it something new. It's safe to slow down. We just did for 90 minutes. We slowed down. We learned. We processed. We transformed. We expanded. We received. All in safety. Thank you for everybody who showed up into this block, this group, where we were all safe for each other. I value that. I'm happy and grateful that you find me safe to be able to do this work with you. So take a slightly deeper breath in. You don't have to do it any particular way. And then just exhale out. One more if you want to, in through the nose. Belly, and exhale. Exhale. Yeah, exhale hell out. So let that breath settle. Notice that everything feels slightly different. Even a small shift in your system is responding to this new. This is how your awareness becomes change. Moment by moment, choice by choice, body with body. So gently bring your awareness back. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes. So I invite you just to ask, if nothing changes within your patterns, if you don't change it, where will you be in the next 6 months? If we don't change the patterning in the nervous system, where will you be in the next 6 months in your life, in your business, and in your relationships, and your follow through? And most of all, to receive more. The capacity for the nervous system to receive more, please. I appreciate you all so much. That was beautiful. Oh my God, we ended right on the minute.